The coffee cup shattered against the marble floor. Lee Soohyun stood frozen in the lobby of Zenith Tech Tower, staring at the woman stepping out of the executive elevator. Amani Choi. Impossible. But there she was, tailored navy suit, leather portfolio, her natural hair styled in elegant twists. Professional, polished, a stranger wearing a familiar face. The receptionist was already hurrying over with a mop. "Sir, are you all right?" Soohyun couldn't answer, couldn't move. Amani walked past him without a glance, heels clicking against the floor as she headed toward the conference room where the new creative director candidates were being interviewed. His assistant, Min Jeong, appeared at his elbow. "Soohyun SSI, the final candidate for CD is here. Ms. Amani Choi from New York. Her portfolio is incredible. She led the Samsung Galaxy rebrand and..." "Cancel it." Min Jeong blinked. "What?" "Cancel the interview. She's not suitable." "But you haven't even..." "I said cancel it." His voice came out harsher than intended. He didn't go back to the office for 3 days. 12 years earlier, Amani had been 7 when her family moved into the Noan district housing complex. Her father, a Nigerian diplomat who'd met her Korean mother at university, had been reassigned to Seoul. On her first day at the local elementary school, she was seated next to a boy drawing elaborate robots in his textbook margins. "Hi," Amani whispered in careful Korean. "I'm Amani Choi." He glanced over, eyes widening slightly at her appearance before his expression went neutral. "Lee Soohyun." Then went back to his drawing. For 2 weeks, she ate lunch alone while groups of girls whispered and pointed. Until the day Yeon decided she was entertainment. "Does your hair feel like rope?" Yeon laughed, tugging on one of her braids. "It looks weird." Before Amani could respond, a voice cut through the room. "Touch her again, and I'll tell everyone your dad takes bribes." Soohyun stood up from his desk, expression blank. Yeon's face went white. "You can't prove." "My dad's a prosecutor. Want to test me?" Yeon left. The next day at lunch, Soohyun sat across from her. Didn't say anything, just ate. He came back the next day, and the next. By middle school, something had shifted between them. He walked her to the subway after school. When her mother's work kept her late, he'd take her to the library and sit with her while she did homework. "I'm going to be a game designer," he told her one day. "I'm going to make games where the heroes look like everyone, not just one type of person." He glanced at her meaningfully. Amani's throat tightened. "Then I'll play all of them." He smiled, a real smile, rare and genuine. "You better." But then Yeon returned. His father's bribery scandal had destroyed the family, and he'd ended up at their school meaner, more desperate. One afternoon, he cornered Amani in the hallway. "Your kind doesn't belong here. You'll never be really Korean." "Just what?" Amani's voice was cold when he opened his mouth to continue. "Say it." "Don't." Soohyun appeared beside them. "Don't even think about finishing that sentence." Yeon lunged, shoving Soohyun hard. His phone flew across the floor. When Yeon turned and shoved Amani into the lockers, Soohyun saw red. He tackled Yeon, didn't stop until teachers dragged them apart. The aftermath was messy. Lawyers, threats, compromise. Yeon transferred. Soohyun got community service. The next morning, Soohyun sat at his desk, hand bandaged. Amani slid into her seat. "Thank you." "You're my friend. I'd do it again." He paused. "My parents didn't even show up yesterday. Your dad was amazing." "He's had practice dealing with difficult people." Still, his voice was detached. "They never come. They don't really care what I do as long as I don't embarrass them." Amani squeezed his uninjured hand. "I care." He looked down at their joined hands, her brown fingers against his paler ones. "Yeah, you do." From that day, something deepened between them. On the last day before summer break, he turned to her. "You'll still be my friend next semester." "Obviously." "Promise." "Promise." But when the new semester started, Amani's seat was empty. Soohyun waited. 1 day, 3 days, a week. The teacher finally told him she'd transferred, family situation. He went to her apartment, empty, a for rent sign in the window. He tried calling. The number was disconnected. Soohyun stood outside that empty apartment in the rain, remembering every lunch they'd shared, every conversation. She promised. Present day. On the 4th day after fleeing his office, Min Ji-young showed up at Soohyun's apartment. You need to come back. I'm working from home. You're hiding. She stepped inside. And the board approved Ms. Choi's hearing while you were gone. She starts Monday. Fire her. On what grounds? She's the most qualified candidate we've seen in 2 years. Min Ji-young's voice softened. What happened between you two? Soohyun sank onto the couch. She was my best friend, until she left without a word. Maybe she had a reason. Then she should have told me. Maybe she couldn't. Min Ji-young studied him. But she's here now. You're going to have to face her eventually. Monday morning, Amani walked into the executive meeting. She looked up, saw him, and froze. For 3 seconds, her professional mask slipped. He saw shock, pain, something else he couldn't name. Then it was gone. Mr. Lee, her voice was cool, professional. It's good to finally meet you. Finally meet you. Like they were strangers. The meeting was torture. Amani presented her vision, a RPG featuring a protagonist customizable with various skin tones, hair textures, and cultural backgrounds. Brilliant, innovative, exactly what he'd dreamed of creating in middle school. Everyone was impressed. Soohyun said nothing. That evening, he waited in the parking garage. When Amani emerged, he stepped into her path. Don't, his voice was raw, don't call me Mr. Lee. This isn't appropriate. 12 years, Amani. 12 years, and you show up acting like we're strangers. We work together now. We need professional boundaries. You were my best friend. You promised you'd always be there. Then you disappeared. I did, the words burst out. I called your house 20 times. Someone kept hanging up. I wrote letters, sent them to your school. You never responded. Soohyun's world tilted. What? I tried everything, and you ignored me, so eventually I stopped trying. Amani, I never got any letters, I never. His voice cracked. I went to your apartment. Your number was disconnected. I thought you didn't care enough to say goodbye. She stared at him. You really didn't know. I swear. Amani's eyes filled with tears. I thought you realized you didn't actually want a friend who looked like me. The words hit him like a physical blow. What? No. After I left, when you never responded, I thought maybe they were right. The kids who said you just felt sorry for me. That's not. I cared about you because you were you. You were the only person who saw me as more than just my parents' son. I know that now, but I was 13 and scared. They stood in silence, 12 years of misunderstanding between them. What happened? Soohyun asked. Why did you leave? My father got reassigned. Political complications. We had 24 hours to leave the country. Where did you go? Kenya, Tanzania, Nigeria, we moved around. Her voice was tired. Eventually, I went to university in New York, and by then you were Lee Soohyun, billionaire CEO. I didn't think you'd want to hear from me. You thought I'd forgotten about you. It had been years. I thought about you every single day. He stepped closer. Amani, do you know why I started making games with diverse characters? Because I kept thinking about you, about how you never saw yourself as the hero. I wanted to create worlds where kids like you could. Tears spilled down her face. I didn't know. Every game I've made, I made thinking about what you would want to see. Soohyun. He took her hand. You weren't just my friend. You changed my entire life. They sat in his car, hands joined, the weight of lost years somehow feeling lighter. Can I ask you something? Amani said finally. Anything. Why did you try to cancel my interview? Because seeing you again, I wasn't ready. And now? Now I'm terrified, because I don't know how to work with you and pretend you're just another colleague. We have to try. I need this job, Soohyun. I know. So we'll be professional, and maybe we can be friends again, eventually. The word hurt more than it should. But Soohyun nodded. Eventually. The next few months were strange. Amani was brilliant at her job. She and Soohyun worked together seamlessly, their creative visions aligning perfectly. But outside of work, they maintained careful distance. It was driving Soohyun insane. Then everything changed on a rainy Tuesday in November. Amani didn't come to work. By Wednesday afternoon, worried when she didn't answer calls, Soohyun drove to her apartment. She didn't answer the door. But he could hear something inside, a crash, a muffled cry. The handle was unlocked. He burst in to find Amani collapsed on the floor, pale and sweating, clearly in agony. Amani. At the hospital, a doctor explained. Ruptured ovarian cyst, emergency surgery, significant scarring from untreated endometriosis. When Amani woke up, groggy and disoriented, Soohyun was beside her bed. You didn't have to stay. Yes, I did. His voice was firm. Why didn't you tell anyone you were in pain? It's embarrassing, and people don't really want to hear about it. I want to know when you're hurting. Why? We're just colleagues. Stop, he moved closer. Stop pretending we're just colleagues. Soohyun. I'm in love with you. I think I have been since we were 14, and I've been lying to myself for months, pretending I'm okay with professional boundaries. But I'm not, because every time I see you, all I want is to be the person you trust, the person you come to when you're in pain. Amani stared at him, tears streaming. You can't, we work together. I don't care, I'll quit. You can have my job, I'll start another company. You're an idiot, she whispered. I know. I'm in love with you too. I have been forever. But I thought, after everything, there was no way someone like you would want someone like me. Someone like you, his voice cracked. Amani, you're the most brilliant, beautiful person I've ever known, and I don't care what anyone else thinks. The only opinion that matters is yours. My opinion is that you're going to get so much criticism for this. Your shareholders, the media, your mother. Let them talk. I've spent 12 years without you. I'm not wasting another second. She kissed him then, soft and sweet, and everything he dreamed about for years. When they pulled apart, she was laughing. We're going to break so many HR policies. Worth it, though. Yeah, definitely worth it. 6 months later. The backlash was immediate and vicious. Korean gaming forums exploded. Conservative media ran think pieces. Some shareholders tried to force Soohyun out. He bought them out instead. Amani faced racist comments, questions about whether she'd slept her way into her position. She handled it with grace, and when it got too much, Soohyun was there. Let them talk, he'd say. We know the truth. Zenith Tech's next game launch, the one Amani had designed, broke every company record, won international awards, sparked conversations about representation across Asia. At the awards ceremony, Amani accepted the trophy and looked directly at Soohyun. To the person who taught me that being different isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. Thank you for seeing me when I was invisible. This is for every kid who's ever felt like they didn't belong. You do, I promise. The audience erupted. Soohyun watched her, thinking about the scared 7-year-old girl with braids who'd sat next to him in elementary school. Look at her now. 3 years later. You're doing great, Soohyun said, trying not to wince as Amani gripped his hand. Shut up, this is your fault. Then, a cry. The nurse placed the tiny, squirming baby on Amani's chest. Congratulations, it's a girl. Their daughter, tiny, perfect, with dark curly hair and skin the color of warm honey, blinked up at them with curious eyes. Hi, baby girl, Amani whispered. Soohyun touched his daughter's impossibly small hand. She gripped his finger immediately. His heart exploded. What should we name her? What about Zara? It means princess in Arabic and blooming flower in Korean. Amani smiled. Zara Lee Choi, I love it. They sat in the quiet hospital room, and Soohyun felt a peace he'd never known. Thank you, he whispered, for coming back, for giving me another chance. Amani leaned against him. We gave each other another chance. That's what matters. 10 years later. Some kids at school said I'm not really Korean, Zara said quietly, looking up from her homework. Amani set down her spoon, heart clenching. Soohyun knelt beside their daughter's chair. Zaria, look at me. She turned. You are Korean. You're also Nigerian. You're also American. You're all of those things, and that makes you more, not less. Some people might not understand that, but it doesn't make it less true. Amani came over. Your Appa and I dealt with people like that our whole lives. People who think there's only one way to be Korean, but they're wrong. You got bullied too. Zara's eyes widened. All the time, kids pulled my braids. Called me names, told me I didn't belong. What did you do? I found one good friend who saw me for who I really was. Amani glanced at Soohyun. And that made all the difference. You don't need everyone to accept you. You just need people who really see you. Is that why Appa's games have so many different-looking characters? Yeah, Soohyun admitted. When we were kids, all the game characters looked the same. Your mom never got to see herself as the hero, so I decided to change that. Zara's eyes widened. That's so cool. Asterisk, you're cool, Amani said, pulling her into a hug. Every single part of you. That evening, after Zara was asleep, Amani and Soohyun sat on their balcony overlooking the Han River. She's going to face this her whole life, Amani said quietly. I know, but she's got something we didn't have. Soohyun pulled her closer. Parents who understand, she's not alone in this. Sometimes I wonder if we made the right choice, raising her here. She'd face the same questions anywhere. There's no perfect place for someone who bridges worlds, but we can make home a place where she never has to choose. Amani leaned into him. You always know what to say. I learned from the best, he smiled. A wise woman once told me that being different isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. She laughed softly. She sounds smart. She's brilliant and beautiful, and I'm married to her, so I'm the luckiest man alive. 20 years later. Amani stood in Seoul National University's game design department, looking at the wall of distinguished alumni. Her photo. Soohyun. And now, Zara Lee Choi, youngest professor in department history. Pretty cool, right? Amani turned to find Zara approaching, now 35, with a baby strapped to her chest. Very cool. Where, Dad? Parking. He's moving slower these days. Zara looked down at her sleeping daughter, little Amara. Do you think she'll face the same stuff we did? Probably, but the world is changing, slowly. Soohyun appeared, slightly out of breath. Is that my grandbaby? Zara transferred Amara to him. Hi, beautiful girl, he cooed. Amani watched her husband cradle their granddaughter and felt her heart overflow. 48 years since they'd first sat next to each other. 36 years since she'd disappeared. 23 years since she'd walked back into his life. What are you thinking about? Soohyun asked. Just how far we've come. We've come pretty far, he kissed her gently. Not bad. We did it together. Yeah, we really did. Zara watched them, then snapped a photo. 3 generations, bound by love and resilience and the unshakable belief that belonging isn't something you find. It's something you create.